I understand all these warnings, so let's get to the point. What content are they gonna make for PvP?
Including rumors or data mines, whether true or not, is not allowed on the official forums, so please don't repost this video there or discuss it there, rather discuss it in the comments below, or at minimum, please be considerate of other people in different spaces who wouldn't want spoilers. Now, to give some context for what we may be seeing in this data mine post, it was announced several times since the end of 2022 that the content or cadence of certain additions or patches to the Elder Scrolls Online would be altered with a big focus on improving the existing game systems and content, which is great, rather than just adding more stuff to ESO. This seems to have shifted some additions like companions from Quarter 2 to Quarter 3 or Quarter 4 updates, while making room for what the studio director calls tentpole systems for Quarter 4 updates, such as what we saw with the Infinite Archive. It seems, according to this post, Update 44, which will be the fourth quarter for 2024, will see the addition of 2 more NPC companions players can utilize under the system, added back in 2021's Blackwood chapter patch. Zereth Var seems to be a Khajiit with a rather interesting backstory that might pique lore.
Even though they're gonna probably this video talk about PvP, I will say those companions, they're not effective as I want them to be. I mean, I was hoping they can upgrade these companions, but they're just very lackluster at best. That even for the casual player, I mean, unless they're doing any normal content, sure. But anything that, I mean, companions become pretty useless.
Seeker's interest, while Tanlorin seems to be an Altmer or High Elf companion, struggling to keep their powerful magic in check. Of course, most ESO players, including myself, have been looking forward to what exactly may be the long-awaited PvP update to a MMORPG that has its roots.
Well, a longer wait. I mean, what year? It's been 10 years. And I think what was it, a few years ago? 3, 4 years ago? Maybe two? Don't even remember. Doesn't matter. It's just a long time. Where they what they did made like a new extra stage on Battlegrounds. I mean, sure, but how about Cyrodiil? Cyrodiil's pretty, going back and forth for Cyrodiil is not endgame. There is no endgame in PvP at the moment, and it sucks because PvP is good. It has a lot of potential. It's just that the motivation.
In Cyrodiil PvP. Unlike the marketing or official information about the Infinite Archive before that in-game system came out, there's been little to no information about the Quarter 4 PvP system. Personally, I predicted that a PvP update for Quarter 4 would be similar to what PvE got with the
Well, they did promise that they were going to do something for PvP. They've been promising after the DLC because, people are disappointed. We haven't had PvPers haven't had content for such a long time.
Infinite Archive as a sort of repeatable tentpole system for the player base in the fourth quarter of 2023. We also do know from developer confirmation.
Now, Infinite Archive, that I could say I like. Not everybody's gonna like it, but it's great for someone who is solo or maybe has a partner and can't get into 12-man or even 4-man. You can do end-game content in Infinite Archive and it keeps going and going. There's rewards there. Now they gotta up the rewards because eventually it's gonna get still lackluster. But some sets do work in certain situations. I know heavy attack's been on the downfall. It's heavily popular among casuals, but not for end gamers because you have the arc that's literally the new easy build at the moment. Why not? That baby's just so good. But you could utilize heavy attack in definitely in archive and it works well. Um, it's very hybrid, so I do like where archive is at the moment. I Is it for everybody? No, but that one's cool.
Nothing to do with adding more things to the open world PvP map of Cyrodiil, and surely a rare update for ESO PvP would shake things up a bit somehow, even if it didn't fulfill every PvPer's expectations or cure cancer somehow. Now, according to the Datamine post, it seems that there will be a minimum of 5 Battlegrounds PvP maps, which is significant considering the last Battlegrounds maps added to the game after Battlegrounds released as a system in quarter 2 of 2017.
Okay, I see where this is going. PvP battleground maps. All right, let me hear what's next.
With the Morrowind chapter, where Mor Khazgur, Deeping Drome, Izatris Outpost, and Eld Angavar. The first two, respectively, were added in Update 17, or Dragon Bones patch, in Q1 of 2018. Izatris Outpost was added in Update 19, or Wolf Hunter patch, in Q3 of 2018, while Eld Angavar was added in Update 21, or the Ratstone patch, in Q1 of 2019. So it's been more than 5 years since Battlegrounds received any new map. It seems 3 of the Battlegrounds maps in the Datamine post are Alliance location themed, while 2 maps called Arena Coliseum and Castle Courtyard are specifically designed for a 2-team format PvP involving a total of 8 people rather than traditional 3-way format PvP of Battlegrounds that involves 12 people. Interestingly, there also seems to be a potential 6th Battlegrounds PvP map called BG PvP Dust Map, most likely a reference to the original Counter-Strike's Dust Map, which may be intended for a 2-team format PvP match involving a total of 16 people in an 8v8 or even a 4v4, who knows. Lastly, there seems to be some incentive or collectible additions to the Battleground system in the form of 3 potential style.
Alright, let's go back for a second. Now you see this? This is awesome. This looks cool, but this could be like another Cyrodiil. So for example, you have Cyrodiil and you have Imper Source. And now, I don't know, you call it Palestine, whatever you want to call it. Name it whatever. You don't have to name it Cyrodiil Part 2, you know, and make it another type of Cyrodiil Imper Source. Now you have 3 different zones that you can queue into. Instead, they made it into a BGs where, yeah, you last 10, 12 minutes. Okay, wow. 16 players. It's just not enough. Not enough.
An 8v8 or even a 4v4, who knows. Lastly, there seems to be some incentive or collectible additions to the Battleground system in the form of 3 potential style pages or motifs, or maybe even skill styling, as the Datamine post isn't too specific with what it found with something labeled as Light Shield. So, assuming that this Datamine is partially accurate about what Update 44 has in store for us with a PvP update, I have a lot of thoughts about it. Immediately, I know that some people will be disappointed no matter what comes out based on the many suggestions or feedback I've seen over the years about revitalizing PvP or PvP content in ESO, as PvP in ESO can be quite a unique and enjoyable experience. I've seen people suggest ZOS implement a guild vs guild arena, or a 2v2 arena, or even making a new kind of PvPvE map like Imperial City, or really just adding more incentives to PvP in the first place for both new and old players, which is a repeating theme, by the way, in other areas of ESO as well, and not just PvP. I think as a whole though, ZOS would be making the right decision here, starting first revamping the Battleground system in 3 significant areas such as PvP format, incentives, and the queue system. In part, Battlegrounds is a great and old system to work on as a foundational experience compared to Imperial City or even Cyrodiil, particularly for people who want to try PvP or for people who want more immediate action.
I think that all right, this is just an idea. You have BGs, right? You have the new arenas or zones for BGs. Okay, sweet. All right, you do that, and then you make a new zone, like a new Cyrodiil Part 2, call it whatever you want to call it. I think that would be okay. I think PvPers will enjoy it more. I think they'll be much more happier. You could probably put new gear sets or something, or new reward system to give motivation. I think that would have been a win-win. I think just giving Battlegrounds more, it's cool, but it's a bit. I'm gonna say it's kind of boring. I mean, it's just not enough. You haven't had endgame for PvP for so long. All you have is a Cyrodiil map that goes back and forth. Emperor Source is nice, but like I said, just not enough content for it. So I'm a bit disappointed with this, but let's see.
Action rather than playing Horse Simulator and hunting for action. I also just don't really know anyone, new or old, who hasn't enjoyed Battlegrounds at some point before they're doomed to waiting 20 to 30 minutes in high MMR queues, so I think this is actually a great opportunity to pull the spotlight back to PvP as an activity for a lot of the player base, especially with these changes and additions to the Battleground system, if they're accurate in the Datamine post. So let's talk about PvP format, as it's been long said by many players, including yours truly, that the Battlegrounds PvP format of 3 teams can be pretty awful or boring, even taking into consideration a couple of the different PvP modes. However, I get the sense that a lot of my issues with the Battlegrounds gameplay, for me, may be due to the inherent map design itself, which kinda clunkily tries to accommodate for 3 teams rather than the typical 2-team or side format in many other games that you see, which could be easier or enjoyable to both design and streamline for ESO, especially for Battlegrounds. And so, seeing the possibility of a 2-team Battlegrounds mode is great, at least for me, especially when map design and the different modes could introduce a higher degree of enjoyment in Battlegrounds, provided that people can or want to get into it. Speaking of incentives, I think this is also a great opportunity for PvP rewards for Battlegrounds to also be improved, as both rewards and leaderboards could potentially change for Update 44. This is pure speculation on my part. I think really a big part of this potential update's attractiveness is going to lie more in the incentives offered by the actual game itself, and of course at the community level. The fact that, Tales of Tribute has a much better leaderboard system, though even that runs its course for the best players, than Battlegrounds is a testament to how incentives.
See, Tales of Tributes, I know many people who that even touched the game, touched the card game. Um, I don't know how good it is. I never really gave it a full try. But the thing is like what most people have said, they don't really come to Elder Scrolls to play a card game. For all we know, the card game could be great, but it's just not for most of the audience base. They don't really care about the card game. It really flopped. They say it's popular. Some people because they like it, but I mean, it's gotten a little bit better where people are giving it a better try, but it flopped big time.
Could be improved for anyone wanting to get into PvP or continue to PvP, at least in Battlegrounds. Because when you look at Imperial City in ESO, which can be crazy fun when it's populated because of incentivizing events once or twice a year, there is a great potential to be had here. And of course, depending on the queue system, which I'll talk about here soon as well, there could be group tournaments for the more competitive 4v4 formats, or maybe if the groups want, they could oversee a 2v2 format within that 4v4 match, rather than tediously setting up an out-of-bounds PvP event for 2v2s or dueling tournaments, while the 8v8 format reminiscent of Halo matchmaking would still offer casual entertainment with its inclusion of all Battlegrounds PvP game types as outlined in the Datamine post. And when we discuss, though, it's all just speculation from my end, and again, I would wait for official information when Update 44 PTS comes out, which is in less than 2 or so months. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about a potential Battlegrounds revamp. Does what the Datamine post imply or say interest you? And what are your personal suggestions for a PvP update in ESO? What would you like to see? What would you love to see? Please subscribe to the channel as well to support me, and until next time, stay safe.
Hmm. All right. It's rough. I mean, what can I really say? I I hope positive. I mean, as um, I do like PvP. Um, over the years, I've taken PvP for what it is. It's not an end game. It's fun for short term. Every month, I'll log in. I have about 11 tunes. Um, I'll go in, put them maybe tier one, tier two, tier three, probably tier one. Depends. I gotta look. If let's say, for example, it's a red team, the Red Alliance. If they're winning, they look like they're gonna win the month, or yellow, whichever color. If I'm blue and blue's gonna win the month, then I'll take the chance and put all my tunes at tier three, or at least one or two, and everything else at tier one. If not, if they're gonna lose, then I'll just tier one simply for the gold, the transfers that I get at the end of the month, and the reward. So it's simply go in there for a few minutes, maybe 30 minutes or so, and come out, and then maybe play PvP another day. That's really the motivation right now, the way I play PvP. Um, there is no incentive, there is no high motivation for me to play for hours unless I'm making a build. If I'm making a build, yes, you'll see me there a lot longer, trial and error, either doing really well or getting my ass beat. But other than that, the motivation is very low. Um, Dueling, worthless in Cyrano. 3v1s, 4v1s. I mean, their interpretation of it is just in Cyrano, not even worth it. Just there's no motivation. And that's what I wish. I wish they did have a motivation for dueling, where hey, you you know how you queue for battlegrounds, you queue for dueling, and there's a dueling arena. There's a dueling arena. You can make it anywhere. Um, those overlap zones have plenty of places. Oh, there you go. What you call that? Gold something? That old overland zone. Forgot the name of it, but they have an arena in there. You could do dueling, and then the winner gets a prize or rankings or something. That will make it so much more motivating for people to actually, and you could test, see who's the best, who's number one, who's number two, because right now PvP is blah. I'll put it how it is. And we're talking about a person who enjoys PvP. I do like it. It's just that there needs to be a better motivation. Um, Bit disappointed, to be honest, because here's the thing too. There's a new MMO game, PvP MMO game that's coming out soon for Xbox. I'm trying to remember what it was. And I have a feeling that, and here's the thing, with the way Elder Scroll does with its PvP system, you're gonna have people leave, come and go. Um, I know personally, I notice that every time a new game comes out or a new MMO, people leave this game, right? And usually it's a disappointment, so they come back to this game. But that PvP game, you're probably gonna have a lot of PvPers go over there and try it out because it's a pure PvP MMO that's supposed to be really good, as good reviews. I'm trying to remember the name of it. What was the name of this game? Hmm. The name of the game. Throne of Liberty. Yeah, there we go. Throne of Liberty and New World. Those are coming out. Well, Throne of Liberty is a new PvP game. New World was, so we'll see. We'll see.